Hey, I was just thinking about something. I got these earplugs in my I don't know where my mic is, if it's on the actual earbud or if it's on my uh um, what do you call it? Or if it's just the actual unit itself. So forgive my appearance, which I think you know by now. I don't really care what you think, but if you have an issue with it, forgive it. Look away is what I say, and that's actually my topic. I have dear friends that will say things to me that make me wonder, how did you get the platform to be allowed to say things that are hurtful? Um, I'm going to bring up a person who, if she watches this, she knows who I'm talking about. But I was explaining how I wanted my hair done for my wedding, and I expressed that my lifelong need for bangs is an insecurity, maybe, about I don't like my forehead, so I always want bangs. Even if they're little wispy things, I always want something kind of covering my forehead. And my girlfriend said, now this is 7 years ago, things that stick with you so specifically, so verbatim, are things that have hurt you. So my girlfriend says, what are you, 12? Now, it's ironic that when I would say about 2 years later, she tried out bangs. And I stopped myself, but my first thought was, what are you, 12? Not because I cared, but because it was like, wow, you said something really hurtful to me about something that you didn't maybe understand, or maybe you didn't approve of, and you felt that you had the platform to say something to me in kind of a bully way. We say a lot of mean things to each other. So the other day too, I mean, she's a hairdresser. I'm gonna, it's her, one of her specialties. She has many, but that's one of her specialties. And if it weren't for her, my wedding would not have gone off as beautifully as it did. I very much love my friend. But the other day, uh, I've recently started doing a lot of videos with me standing in my bathroom, just combing out my hair and talking about whatever I was thinking about in the shower or whatever. And she couldn't help herself but to say, oh my God, quit ripping through your hair. Well, it's better than how my mom used to comb it. She started at the crown of my head and just ripped all the way to the end. So I think, if anything, I'm more kind to my hair, or more kind to myself, than I was, or than my mother was. So I've improved as far as I'm concerned. So my response was, OMG, it's what I do. Look away. Like, why do you have the platform to need to stop, open up the comment part, and message something about what I'm doing that you disapprove of? Look away. Like, why can't we just start doing that in our lives? I mean, there's times that I had a hard time not responding to something that I saw somebody who would make comments all the time, very negative, very ripping people apart comments all the time in like a social platform, completely like different forums. I just kept running into this person. And because I had a friend, she was on my friend list, but I didn't even know the woman. She just happened to be on my friend list. I would find her on all these other forums as well. So it's like I kept running into her. And everywhere I ran into her, she was ripping somebody apart, whether it was for their beliefs or for their property, just in general, the appearance of, for how they did things, for what they thought, blah, blah, blah. And it got to the point to where it's like, I don't like to ever make people feel like I've unfriended them, but I realized that I could not even just unfriend that person. I actually had to block that person. Because when you block them, you won't see anything that they ever say. And it's really, really hard. This is not somebody I actually know. It's just somebody that I just really had to say, I got to quit running into this person. Like, I got to learn your pattern, or I got to make sure I just don't ever repeat my pattern that puts me where you are. And because I knew if I just unfriended, I'd still run into that person. Maybe not as in my face, because when you're friends with them, on other, like on groups and stuff, you'll see your friends activity before you'll see strangers activity. So I just kept running into this person. And even if I unfriended them, it's possible that I would see their name as I scrolled through stuff, you know? So, and she's very active. So I decided, you know what, the best way for me, and it was hard. It was hard. I had to make that, sit there in that block screen and commit to blocking that person. I had to for me. It was toxic for me, even though that person, I didn't really allow them to interact with me anymore, but I did find myself not even liking running into them, not even liking the toxicity that I was seeing them spew at other people. So I had to block that person. So what I'm thinking is, why do people need to say, hey, my voice should be heard in this case? Like, especially when they're your friend. You know what I mean? Like when they're their actual friend, like childhood friend. Like why do you feel it's necessary? And I'm not talking to anyone in general, but why do people feel it's necessary to invest their time, to actually spend their time making somebody else feel bad for whatever reason? For whether they think they're being funny, you know, perhaps it was like a way of kind of being funny. So maybe it's actually more about you than it was about me, so that other people can, you know, see what you said to me and ha 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 to you. I don't know. I don't know why people do it. The other woman, she was just downright mean. Like, she just was mean to everybody, it seemed. Like, if there was a way to rip somebody apart, boy, she was on it. And not only on it in, you know, a general statement, she was on it in great detail. So she had to go. But I just, you know, I'm curious what makes people that way. Like, what is it? Like, I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't seen people write things and I haven't wanted to be like, are you kidding me? Or haven't wanted to offer advice that wasn't really being solicited. Okay, that's another thing. Like, I had to start writing, like, literally, if I don't have a question mark on my post, I wasn't asking a question, which means I'm not asking you for your advice. It's kind of like when you're in a marriage and your husband always wants to fix everything you vent about. And it's like, no, I wasn't asking you to fix it. I was venting. And I was venting on this forum because for whatever reason, it felt better today to have that seen only by my friends, that today I'm having a hard time with a stray cat in my barn. You know, I'm having a emotional feeling about having to see urine sprayed up on things because this cat keeps coming into my barn, which I've done, you know, I've fixed that, but, you know, and then to not need, you know, everybody telling me what I should do about it. Like, that's not why I said it. I said it because I was having a moment that I just needed it out of my head. I was journaling on my Facebook page, if you will. You know, I was getting it out of my head. I was unloading it somewhere. So I'm sorry for those of you who don't like me unloading. Look away.